YouTube. It's me, Courtney, and yeah, this is my very first video, and I'm super excited, super stoked to be finally doing this. Like, it's been a long time coming, and I've been wanting to do it. And so what I want to talk about today is my personal exit from the Jehovah Witness organization. So many people who may know me, that's probably what I'm known for. Courtney Jackson, the Jehovah's Witness. That's what I'm known for. And I kind of just want to tell my story because I am no longer a Jehovah's Witness. I am totally an ex-JW. What do you like to call it? An apostate. That's me. All day. I am no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I will never be a Jehovah's Witness again, and that is what it is. So pretty much I just want to tell my story. That's what I want to do. I want to tell my story, and just for my voice to be heard. I don't consider myself a ex-JW activist or anything of that nature, but I definitely feel that if my story can help somebody wake up, I definitely hope it does. So I have some notes. Story kind of long, and because it's long, I'm going to try to split it up. Like, I don't want it to be an hour-long video. One video, you know, everybody ain't got YouTube Premium, so you might not be able to come back and save and download and all that. So I'm trying to look out for y'all. So what I'm gonna try to do is split it up if I feel like it's getting too long. Maybe 2 parts, maybe 3. I don't know. So let's just get started. Growing up a Jehovah's Witness. I was born into the religion. So and for those who don't know me also, I am the only child. So I was born into the religion. I'm the only child. And so that's all I know. When I think about it now, it's kind of like, wow, that's kind of 2 odd things, you know. But I never really felt like I had an odd childhood, you know, because when you're indoctrinated into something, you don't understand what else is going on around you. Like, I never felt slighted out of life in any kind of way or anything. Like, when I was a kid, like, one of the things obviously with Jehovah's Witnesses, you don't celebrate holidays, right? You don't celebrate holidays, you don't celebrate birthdays, you don't celebrate any of those things. That's kind of the thing when being a Jehovah's Witness. And so growing up, no, I didn't celebrate any of those things. Didn't celebrate Christmas, didn't celebrate birthdays, any kind of holiday. We don't participate. We don't even salute the flag, goddamn. You're talking about nothing. That's it. So being in school, that kind of made me feel like a little weird because, again, I mean, I'm the only one kind of in a school at the time who was like a Jehovah's Witness. It may have been like another person, but not many. And then on top of that, you know, it was like going to daycare. It was like twofold. So it'd be school, have to step out for, you know, Valentine's Day parties and birthday parties, any kind of party, I had to step out. And at daycare, I did have a couple people I went to the daycare with, so who were Jehovah's Witnesses, and that was kind of cool because it was always cool to like take your stand together. Take your stand, now's the time to, y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so it was kind of cool to be around other people who were, you know, taking a stand. But other than that, no, I didn't really feel like I was an outcast. You were always taught, take your stand. No, we do not celebrate birthdays. No, we do not celebrate birthdays. I'm sorry, I said that twice. Sorry, we don't celebrate holidays. None of that. But from infancy, that's instilled in you. So you got to understand, like, even though you might have those awkward moments, for the most part, you felt like you were a part of a bigger movement, a bigger, you know, thing. It's like, You know, this is just one little piece, and they teach you how to be strong and all that. Now, let me tell you, it wasn't no Caleb and Sophia and all of that. It was the book of Bible stories and Young People Ask. That's what it was. And so my dad is an elder. My parents are still Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, so I don't really want to get into too much with my parents, you know, as far as who they are as individuals. I love my parents. I will always love them to the day I die. Love ya. But, you know what I'm saying, as far as me growing up, you know, I'll go into it about that. So my dad, you know, elder, he pretty much grew up, you know, being a Jehovah's Witness. I'm going to use Jehovah Witness lingo, okay? So with people watching this, non-Jehovah's Witnesses, like, there are different terms that Jehovah's Witnesses use, such as the truth. You know, they call the actual knowing Jehovah, that's the truth. Being in the organization, that's the truth. You know, so I might refer to that back and forth, so that's what that means. Because it's kind of like once you leave the things behind that you may have been taught, you know, it's the truth. You have the truth. You've got it, you know, and that's kind of what Jehovah's Witnesses call it. So anyway, my parents, you know, my dad was born, well, not born, but he pretty much grew up a Jehovah's Witness. My grandmother became a Jehovah's Witness when my dad was at a young age. And then my mom came into the truth after, like, a little bit before I was born. So actually, when I was born, my mom, from what I remember, she telling me she wasn't a Jehovah's Witness at the time. She was getting ready to be baptized, and she was baptized shortly after I was born. I'm pretty sure that's right. But nonetheless, I was raised to be a Jehovah's Witness. So field service every Saturday. And my parents were not considered weak, you know. They were very, very active in the Jehovah's Witness organization. My dad was an elder for as long as I can remember. So my dad became an elder at a very young age for himself and me as well. My dad had to be an elder maybe at like 30. And then, so I was like 3 at that time. And then when my dad, I believe maybe, you know, I was about 7 or 8. I just remember this one time, like, we had went to a wedding at the hall, the Kingdom Hall, aka church. We went to the hall, and somebody had a wedding there, and I just remember, like, people walking up to my dad saying, like, congratulations, congratulations. And I was like, why is everybody congratulating my dad? Come to find out, my daddy that made daggone presiding overseer. Now, what the presiding overseer is a position within the body of elders. And at that time, you know, he pretty much was the head of the elders. He was the presiding overseer of the congregation, and it was a very high-ranking position. And that's what my dad had accomplished. Go on, daddy, do your thing. Yeah. That's why he was getting all the hugs and all of that, because it was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? My dad is a young black man, you know, doing this thing. So it was a beautiful, positive thing, you know. But we'll go on to, you know, kind of talk about how things kind of got out of control a little bit down the line, you know. But anyway, I digress. So we were doing really well, you know. It was just me and my mom and my dad, you know. That was the thing. It was just us 3. We lived a very modest life, you know. Never wanted for anything, you know. Both my parents worked. So I never wanted for anything. I wouldn't say we were wealthy or anything like that. We were definitely middle class. And that's what it was. So things were fine. I guess I feel like I had a normal childhood. Like I was saying, you know, didn't get into trouble at school. I was a very good student. I was very smart, known for my grades, into academics and everything. But then I started developing at an early age. So at about 10, you know, I want to say that's when I really started to develop. So I always looked like older than what I was. So at 10, I was kind of shaped up like a 15-year-old, you know, and that was challenging because, I mean, my dad was just like, oh my God, you're freaking out naturally as a father, you know, in general. Like, whoa, 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 not mine. But, you know what I'm saying? Beyond that, the reason why he kind of freaked out more is because once you're an elder, there's scriptural counsel that says if you cannot abide by your own, but if you can't, what's the word I want to say overseer or oversee your own household, how can you oversee the congregation? So the logic they use in that is, if you can't oversee your household, you don't need to be in a position of power. So we're going to take it from, they will take your position of power and that will be it. So, my dad worked hard for that position. Any elder generally that gets a position works hard for it. It's not something that's easily given. It's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time you have to give to the organization, to get in those positions. So my dad, that's what he did. So, of course, it's like, whoa. And you're also considered, our family was the model family. I was, for lack of a better term or better analogy, I was pretty much like a preacher's kid. That's what you can call it. So I was like the preacher's kid. So my dad is running the congregation and I'm his daughter. That's how it was. And so there was a lot of focus on us. But my dad, we handled it really well. We were very well liked in our congregation. My dad did some amazing things. I can definitely say he did with the congregation. Things that other congregations weren't doing, putting on plays and just being very involved with the congregation. My dad really gave a lot of time to the congregation, which in turn, I think, took a toll on the relationship that he had probably with me and my mom, because he was doing a lot, so much for the congregation. It was just like, I just remember him being on the phone all the time, talking to, different brothers and all type of committee cases and judicial, it was a lot, and it took him, I feel like, away from me and my mom. But it was like we felt as if he was doing it for the greater good. So, it is what it is. Anyway, so I said all that to say, when I started developing and everything, my dad pretty much shut it down. I'm talking about could not wear girly clothes. I'm talking about the age of 10 wearing suits. And I'm not meaning like little cute little American Girl suits. No. We talking about shopping at the daggone suit store on 95th in Beverly, next to Adriana Furs or something like that. A real grandma suit. You hear me? The only thing that was missing was a hat. So real suits. And I just remember feeling just so like, but it was like my father just felt like, look, it's too much at stake. We're going to take the safe route. It's better for you and the congregation and everything. And it was just like, wow. So I was not allowed to express myself and be a young lady, for fear of what the congregation may think. Because again, I was made up. I was, made up like someone that was older. And that was a lot of pressure for, my dad, my family, and everything like that. So I believe that's why my father reacted that way. Whatever. But what happened is that had a play on my self-esteem. Because my dad's kind of a tall guy or whatever. And so because of that, I was a taller girl. So I always, I just always had an issue with my height. In class, and I just always felt like I was the tallest girl. And then my mama put a wave nouveau in my hair, and that shit looked like a damn Jerry curl. So I was juice girl, juice curl, and all that. So just needless to say, I didn't feel attractive, okay? But I focused on the books, all that stuff, focused on the kingdom, trying to be a good kid, all that, having my family study, yeah. Really into it. We had the book study at our house and everything. The book study. See, I'm from a time where it wasn't no 2 meetings. It was 3. Okay? 3. And we was on time, baby. I'm talking about not pulling up. We was there because, number one, we had to sit in the same seat every meeting. the same seat. So they already knew. The Jacks, you better not sit in that chair. Your head smashed. But we was there on time, needless to say. My parents took it very serious. And so when I look back on it, I didn't feel as if I was missing out. But then it's like, when I look back on it now as an adult, it's like, wow, never being able to like chill on a Saturday. I mean, that's kind of a big deal, you know? Not being able to do those types of things. You know, that's not really natural. Those are not things that I would want my children to go through. You know, I don't want my kids getting up. You get up Monday through Friday. And then my parents worked, as I mentioned, so I would have to get up and go to daycare Monday through Friday. And then Saturday, get up and go on field service I had to get up at like 8. And then field service was at like 10. Then we stayed on field service about 12. Then sometimes we go get something to eat and go out again for afternoon witnessing. But my daddy used to be like, y'all can go home, you know, whatever. But nonetheless, we're serious about it. So when I started developing, you know, I don't know, it was weird. So around middle school is when I kind of started getting attention from boys. And I lost my GD mind. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did. I loved it. I loved the attention. It felt good to feel attractive. Sorry. It felt great. What can I say? It did. And so around that time, there was a young boy who was going to our hall, and he wasn't baptized. His sister was, and she was like bringing him to the hall. His mom was inactive at the time, so she was kind of taking him under her wing and bringing him to the hall. So he had grew up around the truth, but never, and it's ironic that we call it that, and it's so false. But anyway, he grew up, you know, around it, and he just never latched on and took it serious. So he found me attractive. I thought he was cute. And one thing led to another, and at the age of about 14, he and I began having sex. And so my parents ended up finding out, and when my parents found out, oh shit, like, huh? So my parents found out, and one thing is when, you know, a serious sin is being committed, you have to confess. You have to confess the sin. Now, my dad is the presiding overseer of the congregation. You know what's going to happen. Now your daughter tripping. What's going on? Can you not control your household? What's up? Also, anytime you commit a serious sin, there is something called a judicial committee case. With the judicial committee case, what they do is they sit down, it's 3 elders. They sit down and they talk about what happened. And the premise of the meeting is to find out if you're repentant of your sins. If you are repentant, then you may receive a lighter form of punishment. If not, then the ultimate, punishment is being disfellowshipped. And so that is what I was facing. Disfellowshipment at 14. My dad possibly having to step down, and that was tremendous pressure, you know, on our family. So yeah, 14 years old, and my roller coaster within the Jehovah Witness organization begins. So I'm looking at my time, and yeah, stay tuned, because life is about to turn up a little bit. So I'll be back for part 2. So thank y'all for listening.